March 2008 revolutionized franchisee cricket around the globe, revolutionized the world of T20 cricket, revolutionized the way cricket was played, revolutionized the way cricket was thought, revolutionized the way cricket had impacted lives of individuals. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Cric Gurus, where we talk about cricket, we talk about all cricketing updates in and around the world, and this is your one-stop shop for all cricketing updates. And in this video, we'll talk about the IPL, the Indian Premier League retentions, the Indian Premier League auction rules, the Indian Premier League rules and regulations that has recently come up, and that is going to yet again revolutionize the world of cricket come December 19, 2024 at the Coca-Cola Arena, Dubai. So let's not wait. Let's get started with our episode.
So as Arnav mentioned, we will be discussing about the IPL 2025 auctions and the retention rules. So there are a few new retention rules and the auction parts, and all those things have been introduced in 2025 IPL. And those rules are as follows. So we'll discuss about the first, about the retentions. So we all are excited about the retentions, like how many players can be retained. Because as we have seen, like many teams are eager to retain 8 players, and on the other hand, many teams are not eager to retain a single player. So BCCI came out with some beautiful ideas and the rules. And those rules are the retention rules. The first one is the team can retain maximum of 6 players using retentions or right to match like RTM or a combination of both. So in the mix of like 6 players, so maximum 5 cap players can be retained and 2 uncapped players can be retained. So the cap players, it can be like anybody can retain like 4 cap players or 1 uncapped players, 3 uncapped players who can use RTM and can retain 2 players from the RTM also. So total 6 players can be retained either through retention or through RTM. So on those basis, the players retention will be done in 2025 IPL. And it is very interesting because we will have more such rules about the player caps and the salary caps, which will be explaining by Anubhav.
Thank you, Kishore. I will be covering the salary cap, where the auction purse is INR 120 crores now for 2025. Performance pay is 140 crores in 2025, 150 crores in 2026, and 157 crores in 2027. One disclaimer: these all things are subject to changes. We are not, as of now, we are not certain about the numbers, but this is what we can see from the website and from the available sources. Talking about the match fees, players can earn. Apart from the match fees, they can earn above 1.75 lakhs per match in addition to their contract, which has been termed as performance pay by BCCI. So this is a good news for the players. They are going to earn some extra money because of their performance. So good thought by BCCI and good step towards rewarding and recognizing the players who have been doing well. Over to you, Sandeep, who will be covering the overseas registration and no-show penalty part.
Yeah, thank you, Anubhav. So move over to the player registration and the foreign player registration and the no-show cap. Like the retentions that Kishore and Anubhav mentioned and the total cap. So for the retention, 6 retentions that we have, the salary is actually divided into, like for the first retention, a cap of 18 crores is provided. A second retention, 14 crores. Third retention, it will be 11 crores. And then again, there is a twist. This twist is because BCCI wants more players to move into the auction. So previously we saw for the 5th and the 4th retentions, the salary used to gradually reduce. But now BCCI has brought in a twist whereby it has made a rule like if a franchisee wants to retain a 4th and a 5th player, the salary that needs to be booked is 18 crore and 14 crore again. So making the total purse for the 5 players that they would retain as 75 crores. Addition to which they can retain some uncapped player as well, which can be a maximum of 2 uncapped players. And the minimum salary that needs to be paid for the uncapped player is 4 crores. And this total purse that I mentioned, 75 crores, can be like distributed in any way that the franchisee likes. So it can, for example, it can give a player 25 crores and distribute the rest of the 50 crores to the other 4 players. And then again, adding to that would be the uncapped player of 4 crores minimum salary. Now, like coming to the next rules of foreign player registration and the no-show cap. So if we have been seeing the trends of the last few mini auctions, we have seen players like Sam Curran, then we have seen players like Mitchell Stark, we have seen players like Pat Cummins earning huge bucks in the auction. So this was something which was talked about a lot, because there were many deserving players who also deserve good amount of money as like their fees for the IPL. But like what used to happen is, like whenever a foreign player or any key player, they would appear in the mini auction. So their franchises, what they would do is like they would free up some amount of money from their total purse, and they would spend highly on a player that they wanted. For example, last season KKR went desired for Mitchell Stark. So to avoid such scenarios, BCCI has brought in two rules. Firstly, like a foreign player needs to register in this auction itself, because this is a mega auction happening after 3 years. And a player, if a foreign player, if he does not register for this season, then he might not register for the next two seasons as well. This is one of the rules that has been brought in. And second is the no-show cap. So if a player does not show up after being bought in this auction, so we have seen countries like England, we have seen countries like Bangladesh, whose players often did not like arrive for the auction even after being selected by a team or being taken up by a team, which always created problem for the franchises to take a big classman player in place of those players. So to counter that, BCCI have brought in a rule that if a player does not show up after being like bought up in the auction, he will be banned for the next two seasons as well. So these are the two new additions as well in the rules.
So if you have been part of corporate setup, no shows have been highly disregarded by the organizations. But now if you are a cricketer and if you want to participate in Indian Premier League, then no shows will again be disregarded or will be heavily penaltied upon if you do not show up. So what still remains is the impact player rule, which has revolutionized, which was brought in by the Board of Cricket Control of India in Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy in 2022, and was then that introduced into the Indian Premier League from 2023. Kolkata Knight Riders and fairly quite a few other franchises made a lot of heavy improvement to their squad using this particular rule, and that has probably extended careers for quite a few players who would have probably been at the commentators end or would have been commenting on things. Rather they are still featuring and bowling a few deliveries as well. So the impact player rule is still there, very much there. It is supposedly to be there till 2027. And the last rule, which is in my opinion the MSD rule, is the capped to uncapped. So if you are still confused like me, if who is a cap player, who is an uncapped player, like if I wear a cap, am I an uncapped player, or if I play without a cap, like the likes of Yuvraj Singh, I'm an uncapped player? No, my dear friends. If you feature for an Indian international cricketing team and you actively part of an international setup for your nation, then you are considered as a capped player. And if you do not part, and if you have retired, or if you are yet to make your mark in the international arena, you are considered as an uncapped player. This is what it used to be, but that is not how the BCCI thinks that it should work, because there is a particular franchisee, probably the most successful franchisee in the history of Indian Premier League, and they are not ready to pay the big bucks for a certain player who is considered as the boss in their language. And so to make some adjustments, the new rule says that if you haven't featured for an international cricket, if you have not played an international cricket match in the last 5 years, you are again back, and you will be again considered as an uncapped player. So the confusion that I have is, Sir Mahendra Singh Dhoni retired from international cricket, I guess, in the year of 2020, and the IPL auction is about to happen in December 2024. So he doesn't fit into that 5 years bill. Then how is it going to be? Then how am I calling it the MSD rule? Can somebody explain me?
Yeah, at first I reciprocate the boss. It is not boss, it is Thalaiva from the Chennai Super Kings, as they call him Thalaiva. The date they are figuring out is the 31st October. Within the 31st October, if any player is uncapped or capped, whatever maybe. Like I'll give you the example of the Indian T20 players. Like for example, Nitish Reddy, who just got capped. So he is not eligible as uncapped. Similarly for Mayank Jadhav, who got capped in the last series versus Bangladesh. So he's not uncapped player. He is a cap player. So as BCCI mentioned, 31st October is the last date to give the names to the BCCI about the retentions, and that is the deadline. The player can be decided whether he is capped or uncapped. Now I will come to the MS Dhoni's part. As MS Dhoni has retired on 15th August 2020, but he has last played for India on the semi-final of 2019 World Cup, that is in 2019 June. So that from June 2019 till June 2024, it already crossed 5 years. And basically, that was the only reason it was capped as last 5 years. Otherwise, it would have been capped as last 6 years also, or last 4 years also. So basically, as you have mentioned, like it is MSD role. So I fully support you. It is all to support MSD to come and to popularize again the CSK team, because as you have seen, I might be said wrongly by the Chennai Super Kings, but I always say the Chennai Super Kings only runs by Dhoni. That is the Thalaiba, because he is the face of their franchisee, and without him, the CSK will not get the PR and the advertisements and all those things. I might be said controversial answers, but this is what I feel, and this is what I see the truth about CSK. What do you say, Anubhav?
No, uh, personally, I'm not complaining about the euphoria around MS Dhoni, because the kind of madness that we see, and as a cricket fan, you always relish. Yeah, I agree to the part that sometimes the fame around MS Dhoni take over the sport, which is not something which the sportsman or as a cricket enthusiast we enjoy. But yeah, I'm not complaining. And normally, this is that kind of a case where you fight a case and then reach to a judgment. But in this case, the judgment is already declared, and then you frame the case accordingly. So that is how I will put it. But as a cricket fan, I'm not complaining. The man has given a lot of things to Indian cricket, and we know that it's not going to stay for many more years, because he's already struggling with his knee injuries. So a little more breather for the Chennai fans, I would say. But yeah, I agree with you that sometimes it's all only about MS Dhoni, and if he plays whatever he does, even if it's 5 ball 10 runs, then it's a huge thing. I was referring to a match. I don't remember the year exactly, but I think it was a 27 ball 28 runs or something, and MS Dhoni was given as the man of the match for one of the IPL matches. So that has also happened in the past. So it's all about MS Dhoni, and Chennai people. It's very hot there, humid there, and they only raise the hate only when Chennai MS Dhoni steps into the stadium.
So MSD brings those fans. MSD has brought in those laurels. MSD has made is one of the most popular figures in that CSK dugout, and South is known for hero worshipping. So I don't have a problem with any of these. Why don't we pay him the bucks that he deserved, or he can start commenting out sitting in the dressing room. If the franchisee is ready to bring him as 1, 2, 3, 4, pay him those money, because he will bring you those fans in the ground, right? So why make him a uncapped player and give undue advantage to a certain franchisee? Definitely the most popular franchisee, definitely one of the most successful franchises, but also the one of those franchises who has also been banned for a couple of years, if I'm not wrong. So so Sundip, I mean, understood, like CSK is definitely going to benefit from this MSD rule, but looking at this overall retention and all of these rules that has come in, who are the other franchises who would be having some breather at their side, in your opinion?
So if I go by the rules, or like rule of the uncapped player of a player, if he doesn't appear for the 5 years, I think it's only CSK that's going to benefit with this rule at this point of time. Maybe at a later point of time, other franchises will benefit as well. Now, coming to the which of the franchises would benefit, it's difficult to tell, because the rules are quite evenly like made. They have been quite thought about, and then BCCI have come about with these rules. But this auction, the team that is going to be impacted the most, I think, is KKR, because they could land up a team. They could create a team which was quite settled, like after 3 years, I would say, where they had a very balanced squad. And then again, with these auctions, like we have seen news as well, Shahrukh Khan was very angry because he wanted the number of retentions to be high in the auction. So the team that is going to be impacted most, I think, with this season will be KKR. Also, apart from the auction, we have seen like their setup completely changing. Gambhir being the head coach of India, and then Abhishek Nair, who was the man behind the KKR setup, moving into the like batting coach role of the Indian team. So it would be something that KKR has to think about for this season and go on to the auction prepared. And apart from this, I think it would be a balanced auction. It would be a quite even auction for all other franchises. And this uncapped rule could obviously benefit CSK. But yes, like it's just for the fans and it's just for the franchisee. I think that this rule has been created. And like people have already thought, like have started dreaming about that yellow aura coming up and MSD lifting the IPL one more time and then retiring from IPL, which might not be the case as well. We'll have to see how MSD's fitness goes around for the next couple of years, for next 1 or 2 years.
The likes of Mumbai will also have some breather at their side, I guess. Kishore, Anubhav, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, Kishore, you can start, then I will add points.
Yeah, so to add on what Sandeep said, I will say that Mumbai is also the team which will love these retentions, because they are also the team which are thinking about whom to retain and whom to release. Because they have a star-studded team, as you've seen, and they have grown those players from the locals like Bumrah, Hardik Pandya, Rohit Sharma is their main coach, main captain, main player, Surya Kumar Yadav. These are the players they don't want to lose, and they are like the heavyweights of Indian cricket. Like as you see, Hardik Pandya he was the captain of Mumbai Indians last year, and Mumbai Indians have stole like from Gujarat, like Hardik Pandya. So it is a very big deal. Again, there is Rohit Sharma, who is the most successful captain of their franchise, winning 5 IPLs. And Surya Kumar Yadav is now the Indian captain, and Bumrah is the jewel of Indian cricket. So these 4 players, plus there are many more, like Isan Kisan is there, Tilak Bharma is there. There are many
Telangana.
Indian fringes, like who are the Indian players, main T20 players, and it is a very difficult task if there has been less retentions. But still, BCCI have made this very much like exciting thing that to retain fourth and the fifth player, they need to spend the parts of 32 crores. So that is a big deal again. So I will say it will for the teams which have not owned any IPL, for them it is like bread and butter. Like they have like it is very good. Like for Punjab, they always want like the mega auction will be no players would be retained because they could not settle. They have changed the captains like in every year, every alternate years or every year they change the captains, they change the coaches. So they are not at all settled. Again, we can say another team that will be benefiting is Rajasthan Royals. They also have very good core team like Sanju Samson, Jaiswal, Josh Butler, Trent Bolt, R. Ashwin, Chahal. There are many players they want to keep in their team. They don't want to lose these players because they are the heavyweights and they are also the Indian players. So there are many teams like who want these retentions and they'll be benefiting from the retentions. And one more thing which I am very much exciting about is impact player rule. So I want to discuss all impact player rule. What is this impact player rule and even Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli was opposing this impact player rule because the all-rounders were not coming in our Indian cricket. The all-rounders are not able to get chances in the matches. Like Washington Sundar in Hyderabad, he was not getting chances because Hyderabad was mainly dwelling with the main bowlers and the main batters. They don't want the all-rounders. Similarly, for many teams, Delhi Capitals or I will say Gujarat Titans, they are like many all-rounders are not getting chances. So impact player role, I don't think it is a very good thing as Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, those oppose because for India, all-rounders are very scarce. And if we release this rule, then our all-rounders will not get chances and the foreign captains don't utilize our all-rounders. They don't give chances in order to that the bowling will not be good impact or the batting will not be good impact. So what you say about all impact rule, Anubhav?
Yeah, so my thoughts about impact rule is that I'm just speaking about the data. Till the time the impact rule was not introduced, India has not even won a World Cup after 2007. Just after introducing a impact rule, India won a World Cup. But again, coming to purely sports point of view, I don't see impact rule is very advantageous to the future of Indian cricket because it only makes you deliver according to the situations, which is not. And also it takes away the challenges in cricket. So that is very important. So the sports is all about challenges and how you manage. Even if tomorrow a person is injured, you know that the impact player is back in the squad, and you can bring that person in according to your convenience. If you have more runs, you bring him in, bring in a bowler, a specialist bowler or a specialist batsman. So you will never think about an all-rounder, which makes it very challenging for the people already in India. That there's a lot of competition in sports, and tomorrow when a child is growing up, nobody will think about being an all-rounder. They will either think being a bowler or being a batsman. So that's I think that's the thing that the legends of Indian cricket have been talking about, the modern legends, Rohit Sharma or Virat Kohli, that the future of Indian cricket, as they have spent years in the ground, so they think it's not very, the future doesn't look bright in terms of these kind of rules. But I think when we are talking about IPL, we have to hold our emotions and we have to understand the business part of it. So business plays a huge role. Whatever rules that you have mentioned, you see that the business is playing a huge role here. So when we talk about the retentions, the reach is becoming richer, and teams like RCB will keep struggling because they will not get the major players in the auction itself. So that's how it will go, and things will not. That kills the fun a bit, I feel. So people should think about restricting retention so that more players come into the auction, and we are able to see our legends or our favorite players in new jerseys. So that is what makes, if you see football, why the soccer is so exciting, because we know that the players are not stagnant in any clubs. So tomorrow you pay a higher money and the person goes into another club, which makes it very exciting. So that the competitiveness, if you want to keep it competitive, then you have to allow players to move around. Otherwise, you will see only Chennai or Mumbai or KKR just winning trophies and lifting up trophies every year. That's my perspective.
So when we talk about advantages of impact player rule, also mention the likes of the players like the Piyush Chawlas or the Ishan Sharmas, who could extend their cricketing career by a few more years, only all because of this rule, right? And they have delivered. They are in their 40s, late 30s, but still they are delivering, still very relevant. I mean, for the likes of and also that the impact player rule and the all-rounder fiasco that we are discussing. This is at a juncture where the chief selector is probably one of the most celebrated all-rounders in the history of Indian cricket. And so do you think that that this impact player rule and this discussion has not been discussed with has not been discussed or aligned with the likes of Ajit Agarkar, or and for the franchises like RCB, they have, nobody has asked them to retain a Virat Kohli. They can let him go into the market, and if they think they have 120 crores, let them start from the scratch. Who has asked them to keep hold of Virat Kohli? They can go ahead, right? They go ahead
No, they
and
can
start
go.
fresh.
No, they can go ahead. But what I'm trying to say is that they can never buy Rohit Sharma because they have already been retained by Mumbai. So if you make the number of retention shorter, you will get, maybe I'm just an example, Rohit Sharma will be retained by Mumbai tomorrow. But what I'm saying is, because you keep it to 4, then it becomes very difficult for team to retain the key players, and they have to let go one of the key players so that they become available in the market. That was my thought. It's the same applies to Virat Kohli as well. So tomorrow, if Virat Kohli is not retained or can't be retained because they have to retain other important players, so he will also come into the market, and tomorrow we can see Virat Kohli in a yellow jersey or in a blue jersey. So that is what my thought is.
So the parting thoughts. What about LSG? Like, what about the likes of the teams like LSGs and these newer teams? What do they look up to in this auction?
Yeah, if you look into LST's performance, it has been quite promising. They haven't made it. They haven't like won the championship or made it to the finals. But their performance, if you go by the performance, especially when Gambhir was their mentor, it was quite good. Their performance was quite nice. But yeah, the problem with LSG would be again forming a team. We are hearing news that KL Rahul might not be their captain for this season. So who would be their captain? How would they would form their team? That is going to be a challenge. Another challenge is like they would have to form a team and then get that team accustomed to the like ground conditions of Lucknow, which is quite different than the ground of Wankhede or Eden Gardens. So the how the pitch behaves in like Ikana Stadium is quite different. So getting a new team, getting a new captain, getting that team settled in this new season would be difficult. So we'll have to see which player they target for their captain. If KL Rahul doesn't get written by them, that probably time will only tell if KL Rahul is written by them or not. I'll say like LSG's performance, if you see, it was much commendable than teams like Punjab, who had been there in the like IPL from the starting, but they never formed a stable team. They could never. And this LSG's core setup, one of the important thing that LSG's core setup was formed by Gautam Gambhir, who was their mentor at that point of time in the season. So that was a great balanced team that he formed, and then he moved into KKR. So at that point of time, things started changing in the LSG setup. And yeah, they again would have to come up with a new idea, new team, and a new captain probably if KL Rahul is not their captain for this season. That's
So
about
Kishore, I'm sorry. So Kishore, before we close, quickly your parting thoughts about Dada, Delhi Capitals, and what does Hyderabad look up to?
So at first, I will come to our Dada. Like Saurabh Ganguly was the chief technical director of Delhi Capitals, but as we heard, like the GMR groups and the JSW group owns the Delhi Capitals. So they have, according to their treaty of their understanding agreement, that 2 years the mains Delhi Capitals main team will be controlled by JSW, and the GMR group will be controlling the women's team. And after 2 years, again they will alternately change their position. So this year, the Delhi Capitals men's team will be controlled by GMR group, and the JSW women's team will be controlled by JSW group. So here they changed that's why they changed the management. So Ricky Ponting already being said that he will not be the captain, he will not be the head coach. So Hemang Badani is the new head coach, and Venugopal Rao replaces Saurabh Ganguly as the chief technical director of Delhi Capitals. And this is very, I don't know, because Delhi Capitals not done any good performance in the last 3 years, in the last 3 terms of the IPL. They have not yet qualified for the playoffs. So that is not a good result. And Delhi Capitals always wants to be in the play. Any team wants to be in the playoffs. So as a result, Saurav Ganguly was a very prominent name of Indian cricket. He has done many good things for Indian cricket. But as of now, Delhi Capitals was searching for some new names, new head managements. So that's why Hemang Badani and Venugopal Rao is coming to the team. So that is my thoughts about Saurav Ganguly. So I think Saurav Ganguly will do good things for the women's team and hope to win Delhi Capitals women's team via WPL. So that will be his goal. And apart from that, South Africa T20 team that will also be controlled by Saurav Ganguly. So they are done pretty well in that SA T20 league. Delhi Capitals was doing very well, and hopefully they will continue to do well under Saurav Ganguly's leadership in that South Africa T20 league. And I missed out another question. What was that? Yeah.
Navya Maran and Hyderabad. What
Yeah.
does
So
they look up?
So Hyderabad, as you have seen, they have been very aggressive and attacking team in the last IPL season. They have raised the highest score in the last season, and they have a dynamic duos of Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma. So they will try to retain both of them, plus the Klassen. He is the best T20 player in current form in the current time. And as you have seen in the India World Cup also, he was like taking away the cup from India, but at last moment he got out and India got the World Cup. So, and their captain, Pat Cummins, was a very fresh and the leadership. He's an Australian captain also. So they will want to continue Pat Cummins also, but they will not be able to spend so much of money what Pat Cummins got last season. So they will be getting it in less amount of money. And apart from that, I think Nitish Reddy will also be retained because he is the next Hardik Pandya, what India BCCI is saying. Indian management is saying, so they will also don't want, they will not want to release him because Nitish Reddy will getting very huge bucks if he is in the auction. So they want to retain in by 11 crores might be. So that is what Hyderabad's auction and whatever the news I'm getting from the different reports that they will be like going all out to retain their core group, like which team they are declaring. Like this Pat Cummins will be the captain, Klassen, best T20 player, Head and Abhishek Sharma, the dynamic duos at the top, and Nitish Reddy, the new all-rounder of Indian cricket.
So which means we can expect Bhuvaneshwar Kumar into the IPL auction table.
Yes,
which
yes,
is going to
And
definitely.
you will be seeing, and you will be seeing RCB like bidding for Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. They always have a knack to pick up such players who will be very short term, maybe 2-3 years more, and then again they have to hunt for new people. So yeah.
Correct. And even like the news of 23 crores being like kept for Klassen, and we are hearing news again like from sources that 23 crores for Mohammad Siraj. So not sure how those decisions are coming or how the auction would turn around for RCB, but they need to come prepared this time and form a good team because IPL hasn't been their ball game till now in the men's IPL cricket, and they have to come up with good ideas, good thoughts for the next couple of years if they want to challenge for the cup, IPL Cup.
And the main
Absolutely.
RCB team and decision making doesn't go hand in hand. So that's how it has been for years. We are not expecting, being an RCB fan, not expecting any changes, major changes this year. Nobody talked about Gujarat Titans, so I'm very shocking to see that nobody talked about Gujarat Titans because they looked very lost. Is it the reason under that nobody's talked about it?
Well, everybody talks about Gujarat in the current Indian setup.
Yeah.
We cannot keep Gujarat aside, and so we might be consciously kept Gujarat aside because they lost their jewel, their IPL winning captain, and the likes of Delhi Capitals. Like the way the treaty has been signed, it looks like a puja committee deciding who will do Durga Puja, who will do Kali Puja, rather than managing an IPL team.
Yeah,
So
but
a lot of yes. Sunil.
Yeah, but it might be a blessing in disguise because I don't think like as RCB and IPL is not a like thing which matches. I don't think Saurav Ganguly's IPL stats speak much for him. If you see him as a captain for KKR, nothing great, no great achievement for Delhi Capitals. He had been in the like highest post like director of cricket. But Delhi team couldn't win the laurels under him. So we'll have to see how GMR Group is controlling the team, who is their captain, and news coming up like they are telling that they are interested to retain Pant as their highest paid player, but they do not want him as captain. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how the GMR Group does, how it forms the team. Might be a blessing in disguise of Ganguly taking a different role for the 2 years and new management under like Venugopal Rao and but like Hemang Badani, how they perform. We'll have to keep a look on that.
So absolutely, a lot has been discussed, a lot has been talked about. We talked about the new rules that are going to chime in, and we talked about what the franchises got to look up to. Like Sandeep said, Dada's IPL credentials doesn't look solid, but does it for Venugopal Rao? Let us know, fans, family, and like our videos, subscribe our videos. Let's and join us for yet another episode, and we'll be back